Man, my voice is leaving me. This is the second cast I've done today. So this expansion is starting to get worked on with these mules. Going to get more minerals that way, building up a nice army. He's got the 3 barracks working. He's getting the starport to get those medevacs out there to do some damage. Meanwhile, getting upgrades from a forge and going for another assimilator to get that heavier gas. It'll be interesting to see what he exactly intends to fuel with that. He is getting the robotics facility, so that was what I was looking for. So that's not that big of a surprise. Going to see him probably go for Immortals or Colossi to do some damage. Now, this factory is basically useless to artists, so he is going to send it over. Macroing up their armies, sending in this over here. Will he go for a 3rd expansion to get a nice lead? A lot of times you don't see that getting scouted as soon. He's just going to keep that there for a bit. Now, he is going to move more armies over here. I wonder if he expects some form of drop, which is very possible with these medevacs coming out. Will he load up his units? No, he's actually going to push out. They won't get the most healing possibilities without very much energy, but at this point, I think he's just got this probe here for the fact that he could possibly expand. Not going to spend too much on his army. He's got lots of zealots, lots of stalkers. He is going to get the observer out, and yes, he is going for the robotics base, so you will see some Colossus play in the future. He's got the stalker patrolling back and forth to see if anything's incoming, and he will soon see with this SCV, yes, there is something coming. That SCV is going to get all the way into the base. He knows, yes, I have an advantage. He's able to stim if he needs to and do some insane damage against this very small army. Now, will he decide to do anything? This observer is watching this whole time. He isn't going to scan. He won't see the ripple effect, but I do want to see what he sees as far as his vision. He could see that observer shadow. Just do a quick little scan and take it out, but I guess he's not too concerned about it. Yep, there he saw it, and he's not going to play any games anymore. So, now that Robotics Bay is finished, he's going to get the Colossus. Meanwhile, what's going to happen from him, he's just going to continue to build bunkers, and he's going to get some more Marines, Marauders. Definitely a lot of Marauders coming out with that second tech lab. Double refineries. Is he going to go for another expansion? I doubt it. He's kind of... Ooh, now he's going for that drop. Very effective. Is he prepared for this? He doesn't have much army in the back, but he has these pylons to scout it. Ooh, he did put the stalkers back here, so he is anticipating some typical harassment coming from the Terran opponent, and he is going to multitask here. He is going to send this army out while he's going for that drop. Very effective against Protoss. He's got this drop waiting. As soon as he does that, he will then move in and take this heavily fortified expansion with all these zealots. Kind of dancing back and forth. The Colossus is built, and here comes the drop. They're warping in immediately. He saw it coming. The zealots coming in, not doing too much with that stim army, and they're going to load up and run away. However, there was some hits. They did lose about 5, and that medevac is going to barely get away. And he did scan just to see if there were anything stealthy there. I don't think he saw too much. But he does have more Colossus. He is kind of queuing them up and chrono boosting them. He does have this factory here to scout out any possible expansions. However, there is a possibility that a very risky expansion could come out here. That's what this probe is doing. One key thing to know about this map is there is no high yield. So there is no real risk for over-expanding. 2 Protoss against Terran, there is a bit of an advantage. Now, he is going to push out with these 2 Colossi, and he's going to eventually come close. He's going to really become aggressive when that 3rd Colossi comes out. As you see, he's not going to queue up another one like he did last time. The expansion did go down on this far southern base, and that is very risky, as this is very close to the main. Now, the main, not so much is going away from that, but he is going to push out with a whole lot of more medevacs. This means a huge push will be coming with this army. He does not want to lose them. Will he be able to snipe this? He isn't going to go for any Vikings. Well, he is going to start to build more Vikings, seeing as how he does know Colossi are involved. 3 Colossi now. He's going to build out another Observer and going for weapons upgrades as well as Blink. So this is the big push that we will see who will come out with an advantage at this point. You see that Terran has lost more army, but has a somewhat superior army, but barely. They're doing so well keeping close together. Now has map control. Terran is now pushing back to defend this base, expecting this push to come. This factory is going to be a bit more aggressive with his scouting. Meanwhile, Templar archives are being made, so you are going to see some Archons, as you like to see Hero do in late game. And he's going to continue to get weapons upgrade number 2 and a cannon at his expansion. Yes, very good decision. Double gas. He needs that gas to fuel it. Meanwhile, ship weapons are being upgraded as well with those Vikings. More Marauders and Marines, and he's going to get infantry levels too. So you are going to see them even build up more. They have the minerals just kind of sitting around. And you see that Artist is almost near max army. He's just continually building units. His macro is very sound with his safe expansions. However, with 3 expansions, the boost will be heavily in favor of Hero. What's he doing as far as chrono boost? He's keeping it somewhat low. So he is... I wish I could focus more on what's being chrono boosted, but he is getting Psystorm. So you are going to see some Psystorm against this Terran army, which is a good late game tactic for Protoss, especially if you elected to go along the ways of a 3-gate Robo, which eventually turned into a crap ton of gate Robo. And he's just going to build more gates with 3 bases. You can do that. Heavy Zealots and even more Templar on top of it because, you know, Templar are very gas heavy. That expansion is much necessary. However, he is going to scout this with the factory, and he's just going to hover it over. If he wanted to, he could just scout, pop down a couple. Yep, he's going to send over a bunch of stalkers. Hopefully he could take this out, but that's a pretty mobile building. Meanwhile, Charge and Psystorm are almost finished. He is warping in those units, but this push is coming. He's been scouted. He needs to get those stalkers back because his army is so small it will not stand a chance. He needs a lot more units because right now his army is outnumbered by the heavy macro Terran. This ball is huge. He's got the Vikings, so they will be able to focus down those Colossi if necessary. It can be very interesting to see what happens. This observer sees all. He's going to keep it kind of back so that he doesn't scan it like he did before. Now, you're going to see a pretty fast stem. The Marauders in the middle. He is going to scout it. Or at least scan the army to see what they are doing. The Templar are going to try and stick in the back. He doesn't want to do much with those worthless attacking units. The Vikings are now seen. Oh, he's not going to get any shots off because they're kind of hiding behind the high ground. Will they blink up? No, they will blink away. Definitely don't want to engage at this point. They are at a disadvantage. Is he going to warp in more units? He's getting another Colossi out there. He does have... 3 back in this ball, but he's just going to poke around with these stalkers. Now he is going to get our ground weapons 3. Here come the Zealots, kind of charging in, not being very effective. Seeing the extent of his army, sees that he is maxed out, and he is good to go. He does have a couple ghosts for those EMPs, will be effective as well on those Templar, not allow them to get the Psystorms that they desperately crave. Now an expansion has gone down. So they are working on their 3rds. Meanwhile, a 4th has gone down for Hero, trying to keep 1 up on the Terran army. Always a good decision. Now, this Colossus is kind of all by himself. This army is being scanned, so you are going to see the big conquest coming. They are even in army. The macro has built up, heavily anticipated. Last 10 minutes. Now, the attack is coming. Will he be able to sneak around? Now, there is a feedback on them. Going to do more damage. And, oh, you hear the army coming. These Vikings are going to snipe at these Colossi. 1 goes down, 2 goes down. He's going to lose the 3rd, but this army is getting Psystorm, so it might not matter in the end. These Stalkers are doing so much damage. Oh, man. Not much you can do. Stalkers doing a lot of damage, but they are blinking away. The heavy advantage is actually in the favor of Artist. He does have the MMM. He did not micro his Colossi at all. And these Vikings are now a supreme force. They did get that time allowed, but both ground armies basically eradicated. He can push out with a high amount of Zealots. Vikings will be useless at this point with the upgraded weapons, and he is going to get more Colossi out. This expansion is at risk, however. He does have a few clumps of Marauders, and he's going to send these SCVs to do as much repairing as he can. The macro army is coming in, but he has warped in some more units, and they will have more. With Psystorm and feedback, you will see those ghosts eradicated.